Hi and welcome back to Making It with Dee. I'm Dee and in today's video I'm doing some pretty challenging stuff. I will be making these lamingtons. It's quite an episode, you wouldn't want to miss it. If you want to see what happens, stay tuned. Without further ado, turn on your ovens, grab your aprons, and let's get baking. So to start off guys, we're going to be making what's basically a sponge cake. Okay, I'm going to cream the butter and the sugar and we're going to add the eggs gradually as we go. So let's get started. The aim is sponge, so light and fluffy. So I'm going to be letting this mix around for a little while before adding the eggs. I feel like the butter and the sugar at this point have combined, so maybe a little moisture will help, which I'm going to add by starting to add the eggs in. I'm going to add the eggs one at a time. Make sure that each egg gets a chance to be combined into the mixture before I add the next one. Let's do that, shall we? That's looking nice and light. I will scrape the sides first and then give it another turn to just combine the sides into the mix. If you're a baker and you're watching this video, please don't be horrified. Give me some tips in the comments below if I'm doing this completely wrong or not. I have to admit this recipe is slightly different to what I've seen most Lamington recipes are. And because it's a traditional recipe, I'm following the recipe rules here for this one. But let me know if you've got a different one or if you use the same one as me or similar to mine. That would be helpful, and then we can all learn together. Okay, I think I will call this light and fluffy. Next ingredient is the milk. I'm going to add the milk, mix that together, and then we see what we've got left. Okay, I'm becoming slightly concerned. It's looking like it's curdling a little bit. Might just be the butter, I'm not sure. We'll just carry on and see what happens in the end. Okay, right. Next step is to sift the flour, baking powder and a little bit of salt. I'm going to put it in one bowl and then I'm going to add it. I feel like I should fold this in, the flour. So that's what I'm going to do. Rest of the flour goes in. And I'm going to fold this bit in as well. I'm trying to preserve the air, the light and airiness of this dough. Now it's ready. Now it's ready for the baking tray. Okay, so I have a pre-greased baking tray right here and lined with a little bit of baking paper and my cake mix. My oven has been preheated to 180 degrees and it's meant to bake for 30 minutes. Okay, I think that is it. It's not moving. Right. It must mean that it's ready for the oven. Right, I'm gonna pop it in the oven. The way to know whether it's cooked or not is to stick a skewer or just a knife in the center. If it comes up dry, baby's done. Okay, right, into the oven we go. Okay, so while the cake is cooling, I am about to make the syrup that I'm going to be dipping the lamingtons into. So we'll add some sugar and the water. So this just needs to come to a boil, and then it needs to boil for about 5 minutes or so. And so while this is happening, I'm also going to be whipping up some egg whites. So for the egg whites, I'm going to separate, obviously, the eggs, the yolks, and then I'm going to be whipping up the egg whites just to add to the syrup. I'm going to try to create a white coating for several of the lamingtons that I'm going to be making. So. That's ready. Now we're just waiting for the syrup, and we will gradually add the syrup to this egg white, and that will become our little dipping sauce. Right, now is new territory for me. So I'm going to be adding the little syrup gradually to the egg whites to prepare a little dipping sauce for the lamingtons while it's cooling. So I don't know how this is gonna go. We're just gonna gradually. I haven't seen anyone do this, so I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm just playing it by ear. Because I'm trying to make pink lamingtons, I am going to be adding some colouring, food colouring, to this mixture. And then while that cools for a little while, I'm going to be cutting my sponge into squares. We'll call that the syrup ready for dipping. Now let's prepare the cake. Right, here we are. I am about to cut the cake into squares so that I can dip them. First in that, first in the egg white mix, the syrup, and then in the coconut. So I can see that there's a bit of a mound issue. If you look at it from this end, I'm going to cut the corners. So the recipe recommends that I prick each block with a fork to help the absorption of the syrup. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to dip it in our syrup and coconut and see what it looks like. am ready to go. Woo. Let's see. Friends, I am very disappointed to report that these, what are those? No, this is not what I wanted. This is not the result I anticipated. So I am going to change tack, okay? Stop midway through. And I'm going to make a different syrup. Okay, take 2. I am going to be using raspberry jelly for our dipping syrup. Okay, take the whole bag in there. Add a cup of hot water. And mix. If you guys know where I made my mistake, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I would really appreciate that. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to add a cup of cold water. And our dipping sauce is now ready. Needs to be at least body temperature before I start dipping. Let's get the coconut ready. And I'm going to need a cooling rack. Okay, let's go. I think I managed to salvage what was about to be my first fail on this channel. What do you think? Did I salvage it or what? I think I did, and I guess the taste test will tell all. So I'm just going to allow this to sit a little bit in the fridge for about half an hour, and then we'll do the taste test. Now it's time for the taste test. What we have here are 2 types of Lamingtons. They're supposed to be the same. This one here is what I called earlier a fail. This one is probably more the successful one. I'm beginning to think that maybe it wasn't such a fail after all. It was a different type of covering from my traditional family recipe that I tried to follow. I wasn't sure what I was doing, in fact, because I hadn't seen anyone do it. I guess I'm a visual learner. I didn't see anyone do it. Whereas this one, I've seen people do. So I kind of knew how this one went, but this one, I'm going to do a taste test with both of them and we'll compare. So this coating here is the one with the egg white kind of glaze that I made, and this one is just with the raspberry jelly. So I'll go with my glazed one first. Let's cut it open and see what we've got on the inside. There you have it. Looks like it's how it's supposed to look. Now let's see if it tastes how it's supposed to taste. I mean, I've had Lamingtons before, but not ones that I've made myself. So here goes. Tastes like a Lamington. Very coconutty. I think, although I won't call this a fail anymore, I feel like there's too much coconut in this one. And I guess that's a personal preference. Some people like lots of coconut, others just like a little bit. So let me compare first that one to the second one, which I guess is the more better known version of Lamington. And again, you have the beautiful inside with a little pink rim. It looks so pretty. I wonder if I'll be able to taste the raspberry. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with this one because obviously the sponge is exactly the same. There's coconut. The pink though, you can actually taste it. If you can taste the color, you can taste the raspberry in the one that's coated with the jelly. This doesn't taste like anything because it's food coloring, so it's not even flavored. It's syrup, so it's sweet, and then lots of coconut and quite thick because of the egg white that's been mixed into it. So it's more like a glaze than a topping. So yeah, my preference would be the second one, purely because you can taste raspberry in there as well. There's a different flavor in it, and it's got less coconut, which is more palatable to my taste. Other people might disagree, and they might like the lots of coconut, and they might not like the taste of raspberry. So there you go. I can finally say that this recipe has been a success. Although I didn't feel like it was right at the start. But yeah, I made it. I might revisit this one and do a better job of making the glaze for this one. I feel like that was my mistake, so perhaps if I did, I could do it justice next time. If you've hung out with me so far, you've come to this part of the video, I would like you to consider subscribing to my channel. It would really help me out. I am trying to reach a goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And so many of you come back, return viewers, but are not subscribed. So I'd really appreciate it if you just click that button. It's free of charge, and it would just really make this girl very happy. So, thank you for hanging out here with me on Making It with Dee, and I'll catch you on my next one. Bye!